Hello, welcome to this latest edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Cassidy Jo Fortin. Are you looking to hone your communication skills, build your self-esteem, or become a more effective leader? Then this is one episode you won't want to miss. Today we have with us Jack Mierop, a motivational speaker, life coach, educator, and author. Thanks for coming today, Jack. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Cassidy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you first start off by telling us a little about yourself?
Well, I think I'm a lover of life. And with that being said, I want to enjoy as much as possible of every aspect that I can. I think it's fascinating to be here on the planet. And so I'm an avid gardener. I love to cook. I'm a train traveler. I love riding trains. I've been a train aficionado my whole life. And for the last 20 years, I've been teaching people how to understand themselves and communicate better.
Very nice. Can you tell us a little more about your seminar, Jack Up Your Life?
Well, that started out as a seminar and lecture series about 7 years ago. And it was developed to present the message of personal understanding and personal peace to a broader audience, because I've been doing it to college students for 2 decades, and I wanted to reach out to the broader population. But over the years, it's evolved, and it's turned into, if I can be so bold, a way of life. I post daily affirmations or daily positive quotations from a variety of sources, and they go to all my social media, they go onto my website, and I post at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. I have incorporated 2 bloggers into my website, and one guy, his name is Tyler Dillerman, and he has a blog page called Practical Madness. And this gentleman is a true modern day philosopher, and I'm so happy to be partnered up with him because his insights are absolutely wonderful. And then another blogger is David Roll, and he has an integral life practice, and it's about coordinating your mental and spiritual and physical and relationships and living a good life, guidelines for living a good life. And so at this point in time, the website has evolved to about 100 pages and over 600 posts. And so there's something for everybody, and there's something to help you along with your everyday life. And so it's really turned into a really nice little baby for me. This is my bailiwick. This is what I'm born to do.
Oh. Well, what messages do you hope to send to others through your presentations and your seminars?
To be happy. And in that, to understand your happiness, understand that everything in life is a choice, understanding that your happiness is a choice. You can wake up in the morning, and instead of being reactive to your day and wondering what kind of day you're going to have or letting the rain spoil your day, to decide to be happy, to make that a choice, and to understand yourself well enough to be able to create those thoughts in your head that bring you peace and bring you happiness throughout your day and throughout your life. And that's what the website's about, that's what the book is about, that's what my seminars are about, that's what I want to get through to people, is to understand your life well enough so that you can live a happy, effective, peaceful, contented life. And if you're not aware of that, if you're not doing self-examination and you're not aware of the steps you can take to point you in that right direction, you sometimes just kind of live life on automatic pilot, and you wake up one day and wonder why you got so old and are so miserable because you don't like your job or you don't like, the relationships that you have in your life. So it's about pointing people in the right direction to build a wonderful life. Very
nice. How does your book Becoming reflect your work as a motivational speaker, and can we see similar themes in both?
Absolutely. It's just another way of disseminating the message, whether it be through seminars, whether it be through classroom classes, teaching. As a matter of fact, the book came from teaching. I've been teaching for 19 years, and I didn't realize it when I started teaching that it was going to be that effective a message. But I had students at the end of semesters say, you're so motivational, you're so inspirational, you should write a book. And I thought, write a book? Oh my God, that's like saying, climb Mount Everest. It just seemed like a daunting task. And as the years went by and I got more and more encouragement, I thought, you know, maybe I should start putting this message out there so that it can be disseminated to a broader population than just the classroom. And this book is actually the first in a series of 4 books. Oh. And this Becoming is about you becoming who you want to be, understanding your thought processes, understanding the conditioning that you've gone through throughout your life so that you can take better control of it. That's being proactive rather than being reactive in life. And as I started writing it, I had so much to say that it was going to be a 600-page book. And I thought, I don't want it to be that big because people are going to get frustrated and just throw it in a corner and never finish it. So I broke it into 4 different books. And so this is Becoming. Mm-hmm. The second is Behaving, and I'm working on that now, about halfway done. The third book is Belonging, and that's going to be all about relationships. And the 4th book is Believing. So it's Becoming, Behaving, Belonging, Believing. Believing in yourself, believing that you can do it, you know, and having more affirmations to guide you on your day. So when I'm done, it'll be a box set of 4 books on how to live a perfect life.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, that's the goal, anyway. It's good to have goals, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. What motivated you to teach life coaching classes at Homeless Intervention Shelter and House?
Well, once again, the message is about understanding yourself. Mm-hmm. And I have a friend that's a case manager at homeless shelters, and we've been friends for about 15 years, and we've been talking for about 7 years about me getting involved, and we could just never make the time right and never make the scheduling right. As a matter of fact, we had a moment scheduled 7 years ago where I was going to go in and do a talk, and my mom passed away, and I had to fly out of town to attend the memorial and be with my family. And so I had to cancel that, and then we could never seem to get it together. And last year around this time, she called me. And I've stayed in touch with her. Mm-hmm. But last year this time she called me and she said, I'm working at a shelter, I'm a case manager, and we want to bring you in and do some life coaching. And that's right up my alley. I would love to do that. And so I did, and at first it was once a month. And it was so well received, the residents were saying, we want this 3 times a week because it's just so uplifting. They feel so good when they leave. So I talked to the management and we got it to be twice a month. And that's been going for just about a year now. And it's just an amazing experience for me to see the effect that it has on the residents and how it's helping them through their lives. And when I got hired there, I went for a short interview, and the director said, I ordered your book on Friday. This was a Tuesday, mind you. She said, I ordered your book on Friday. I got it on Monday. I started reading it, and we're going to buy books for all the residents.
Oh, wow.
And so, and the residents are there for about 4 months or 6 months, and then they leave and they get a new flock of residents. There's always, I think they have 14 rooms or something in this place, and so it's always packed. There's very rarely an empty room. And so they continually order books. So it's wonderful. Yeah. And everybody's getting feeling wonderful about it. And now I'm trying to branch out and work more with the homeless, and I have another shelter that I'm going to be speaking at in April, and trying to do more work along those lines.
Oh, very nice. Have you had the chance to see someone's progress or success as a direct result from your work?
Many, many. And they come in many different forms. It's through personal correspondence, through coming to visit me and telling me of the effect that I've had on their lives. And I think that's one of the most rewarding parts of this kind of work, is that you have an effect on people's lives. I post a lot of the I post all of the correspondence that I get on my website. And I just started a new page called Stories, because some of the correspondence are relatively long. And they tell a story and how I help them get more close to their sister and open up the lines of communication so they can communicate better with their sister. One of the most recent ones I had right after the first of the year, a young lady that took my class 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. In her correspondence, she said, "You contributed to saving my life." And when you hear that, you just know you're doing the right kind of work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How does your work with individuals differ from your group work?
Well, with individuals, it's a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I let them talk, and I try to direct them in the right way. The group work it's a whole different animal, because in the group work, everybody gets a chance to talk, everybody gets to report out of the difficulties that they're going through, and they get a tremendous amount of support from the other people in the group. And right. That's so nice to see, because somebody will talk about a troubling time that they're going through, and somebody will just offer from the other side of the room, "You can make it through this," and it's just so life-affirming as a group, and so it's a little bit different, because it's more of people sharing the troubles that they've gone through and how they're working their way through it and finding their way out of those troubles, or finding their way into a better position of feeling better about themselves and more personal peace. So individual, it's more concentrated and more of a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer one over the other?
Not particularly. I like variety in life. You know, like I don't want to eat spaghetti every night. So I love being in the classroom. I love counseling individuals one-on-one in life coaching. I love working in group life coaching. I love doing seminars on stage with lights and, you know, microphones and power. So, I'm lucky enough to be able to do all of those things, and to be able to sit and write. And I enjoy writing as well, to sit and in my home office and write. So it's the variety of life.
Very nice.
Variety is the spice of life, isn't that the phrase? And yeah, it fits right in.
How does your work directly help college students?
Well, you know, when I was in grad school, I was counseled that I should get my PhD. And I don't have my PhD, I have a master's. And the reason they told me that I needed a PhD, because I would get bored teaching the same class over and over. Mm-hmm. And that if I had a PhD, I could teach upper level classes, I could teach graduate level classes, and have a more broad sort of palette to paint with. And I didn't get my PhD, and I have taught the same courses for 20 years, and I have not got bored with it for 1 second. And I teach 18-year-olds. I teach entry-level college classes, both here at the university and at community college. Mm-hmm. And I never get tired of it, because I'm taking young people directly out of high school that are still yearning to figure life out, to figure out who they are, to understand themselves, to understand the people that they interact with, their relationships, their families, their siblings, and to be able to point them in the right direction and have them have a benefit from it is just, it's a wonderful feeling, and it's a phenomenal experience. And I don't want to teach upper level stuff. I mean, I would enjoy it, but I enjoy a fresh new batch every 4 months of freshmen mm-hmm. that are longing to learn and longing to grow.
Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I'm a lot of stuff, as a matter of fact. When I was in grad school, the seminars are smaller classes. You have 15 people in the class. Mm-hmm. And after one particular class, I said to the professor, we should all go out for dinner. And we did, and we had a wonderful time just chatting with the professor, just normal conversation, not, you know, professor stuff. Mm-hmm. And as I started teaching, I thought, why not present that to freshmen and see how it's received? Mm-hmm. And at first, some people think it's creepy to go to dinner with your professor, But I started inviting classes out to dinner, and it grew and grew and grew, and then one night I was IMing one of my former students, and he said, "When are we going to go out to dinner again?" And I said, "You know, now that the semester's over, it's really difficult to coordinate it all. I can't keep all the email addresses in a file, and you know, this is probably 10 years ago, maybe a little more than that." And he said, "Stay there. I'll be back in 15 minutes." And he left the screen. And he came back in 15 minutes, and he set up a group on Facebook called Dinner with Jack. And I invite my students to join, and I use that to put events together. There are over 300 members of Dinner with Jack, and I have a dinner every 2 weeks at a local restaurant.
Very cool.
And I have anywhere from 10 to 15 people to 45 people come out to dinner. And we sit and we have conversation, and you get to meet other people and, you know, ask questions and talk about life and have a good meal. And then I have one coming up a week from Sunday, so I try to schedule them every couple of weeks. And then I've tried to be active on campus in college clubs. A couple of years ago, I was the faculty advisor for the CSUF Reddit Club. And just recently, I was invited to be a brand new club was formed last semester in the fall. And it is the TED Talks CSUF.
Very cool.
Yeah, so those of you that are familiar with TED Talks, and I know you're familiar with them, they're ideas worth spreading, and the TEDx talks are independently organized, but they are licensed through the TED organization. So in this TED Club, we get together every 2 weeks, and we either have a guest speaker or one of the executives speaks, and we show a TED Talk, and then we discuss it. And so I'm going to be presenting a TED Talk on the 17th of March, St. Patty's Day, on finding the right career and finding your passion, that sort of thing. So that's going to be happening. And then we hooked up with an organization in Fullerton called TEDx Youth at Fullerton.
Okay.
And they're doing these talks and helping the youth of Fullerton understand, you know, how to find their way. And they are presenting a TED conference here on campus on the 11th of April. And the theme is breaking barriers, because society, family, religion, all just inundates you with what you can't do. And those are the barriers to doing what you want to do, living your passion, having a happy and effective life. And I'm going to be the opening speaker at the TEDx conference.
Very impressive.
Yeah, April 11th. I'm thrilled. I'm overjoyed and absolutely thrilled, because I've wanted to be a TED speaker ever since I've learned about TED, you know, 5-6 years ago, and it's coming to fruition. So I mean, the biggest message from that is, if you have a dream, keep dreaming it and keep pushing and keep finding the avenues to make it happen, because it eventually will.
What aspect of college do you find most students seem to struggle with, and what piece of advice would you offer them?
I think some struggle with direction. And I think that there's a lot of pressure on college students to know what they want to be when they're 18 years old. And I think that's pretty crazy, because I didn't know what I wanted to be until I was quite into my late 30s, probably. Or I changed things, because I was a rock musician when I was younger, because I grew up with the Beatles and I wanted to be one of the Beatles. And so I played with that for a lot of years. And to say to an 18-year-old, you need to know if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or a biochemist or a technical engineer or an on-air personality or a journalist. You know, it's for the people that understand that when they're younger, when they're in high school and they know what they're going to do. That's amazing, because most people don't have that kind of direction. And so, one of the programs that I'm involved with here on campus is a pilot program, a new program just this year called the GE Pathways.
Okay.
And we coordinate classes on different pathways, and there are pathways such as power in politics, if you want to be involved in politics or you want to be an attorney, that sort of thing. Globalization, sustainability. And my pathway is food, health, and well-being. How to be the healthiest person that you can be, body, mind, and how to train your brain to think positively. And so we have several departments that are involved in it. I mean, there's a health and well-being class that's in the art department, and how art can contribute to your health and your well-being. And so there, in that vein, we have an upcoming wellness symposium that's going to be presenters from the pathway programs, and they're going to talk about the different aspects of well-being, and that's coming up on the 14th of April. But one of the things that I find with students, and I find this with people in general, but not necessarily everybody, I'm just talking in general terms right now, is that people only want to be interested in the stuff that they're interested in. And they almost decide that they're not interested before some people start even talking. They don't even know what the person's going to talk about, but they decide they're not interested in it. And I think that's nuts.
Yeah.
Because this is a fascinating place, Earth. And it's jam-packed with interesting things that a lot of people just let pass by because they don't focus on it, or they're not interested in it to begin with, so it doesn't draw their attention, so it just is off their radar. And they miss out on a lot of life. And so I hear this from students in the GE programs. Well, I'm just taking it because it's a GE, it's required, that's why I'm taking it. And they go in with an attitude that they're not going to enjoy it, and it's not going to be meaningful to their lives before they even step into the classroom for the first day. So my advice for students is be interested in everything. Develop a fascination for life. Develop a fascination for everything. The way a flower grows, the way a hummingbird flies, the way a rocket shoots into space, the way an airplane flies. Just be interested in everything. And when you open your mind to that, the world becomes an incredible place. It becomes so much more broad. And then you enjoy classes. Because I know that students go into classes and they fall asleep or they daydream and it's just boring and I'm not interested. Make it interesting to yourself. You go into a poli-sci class. Use it to understand your neighborhood, your community, and how you can be an effective. You don't have to go into a poli-sci class thinking, oh, this is only for people that want to run for president or Congress. It's not. It's about understanding how your local government works. It's understanding how your community works, how your school system works, and being an effective member of that community for you and your children and your family. And do that with every class. Geology, understand rocks, understand the earth and the layers in the earth. I think it's all fascinating. And if you would just get rid of that attitude that, oh my God, this is a chore, I have to do this, and turn it into, this is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm really going to learn something. And go into life like that, let alone just college classrooms. Your world will change.
Well, I think all of us can learn something from the amazing work that you do.
Thanks.
Whether you're looking for some guidance in your career, your relationships, or for your own personal growth, Jack Mierop is certainly the man to see. You can check out more about his presentations, seminars, and his book Becoming on his website, www.jackupyourlife.com. That is all the time we have for today. I want to thank our guest, Jack Mierop, for joining us. Until next time, I am Cassidy Jo Fortin. Thank you for watching In Focus.